So I've bought the new Tommy Hilfiger Poolside Edition. Now I didn't expect too far for this freshie, but here we are. So we have mandarin, lemon and pink pepper at the top, salty accord and apple at the heart of it, and cedarwood, amber and moss at the base. So as soon as you spray it on, you're basically getting citrus. However, I do feel there's more to its freshness than just that. I mean, you can definitely pick up on the sort of a salty freshness in the opening, but I do feel that its saltiness is almost like something sort of a transparent. And even though there's no marine notes in Poolside Edition, I'm getting something that gives me marine freshness vibes, but not quite moving into that direction. But the opening, at least to my nose, is mostly about a super smooth dose of lemon. You're getting a bit of sweet citrus from the mandarin, and even though it might sound weird, a sort of a transparent kind of salty freshness. I was actually not expecting something with a bit of uniqueness from Tommy Hilfiger, but I do feel that the freshness I'm getting from Poolside Edition is something that definitely has a bit of uniqueness to it. I mean, this might sound weird, but this has quite light and almost transparent kind of freshness to it, but a transparent kind of freshness that I do feel has a ton of personality to it. I know that sounds weird, but that's how I feel about it. And it's actually very rare that I think that the name of a fragrance sort of correlates into what it smells like, but I do feel Poolside Edition, with the vibe I'm getting from it, is like sitting by the pool in a tropical place. And the more Tommy Poolside Edition moves away from the opening and into the heart of it, the more fruity, sort of a fruity fresh the whole thing gets. That apple note is cutting through for sure, and at least on my skin, the fruitiness from it comes through in a more fresh way rather than something that is on the sweet side. So the heart of Poolside Edition, at least to my nose, is basically a combination of a nuanced kind of freshness together with a dose of fresh apple. It's definitely fresh in a light, pretty bright, and in a way sort of a salty kind of way. And you get that freshness together with a really nice juicy dose of fresh apple. So Poolside Edition, at least to my nose and at least on my skin in the dry down, is a bit less fresh and instead quite a bit more woody. The whole thing is still a light and bright kind of scent, but it definitely turns more woody in the dry down. That sort of a fresh apple is still, and this is a very good thing, still in the dry down. So the dry down, at least to my nose, is basically a combination of a bit of the freshness that you got from the opening together with the fruitiness, that fresh apple, and that freshness and fruitiness sits on top of what I think is a light and very smooth dose of woodiness. And the whole thing has a really nice but light amber warmth and shine to it. The main stars of Poolside Edition, at least to my nose, is definitely its gorgeous and somewhat unique kind of freshness together with that fresh apple. So I'm not sure you can see this, but look at the dent I put into it in just a few weeks. I worn this a lot, and at least half of the times I worn it, I ended up getting a compliment. Poolside Edition is definitely a compliment getting kind of fresh scent. However, it all comes down to if someone can pick up on it or not, which leads me to its performance. Poolside Edition, at least on my skin, is definitely not a strong scent. But with that said, it's definitely quite noticeable, at least like within normal conversation range, and at least for like the first hour or so. After that, you're most likely going to get the kind of scent cloud that is a bit more intimate. And I'm putting the overall performance of Tommy Poolside Edition around average. So don't expect a loud super beast mode kind of scent cloud from Poolside Edition, but it's definitely, at least when sprayed properly, a noticeable scent cloud for the first hour. But with that said, I do want to say that I ended up getting some of this on one of my t-shirts, and this really surprised me, but I could actually pick up on some of it the next day. And Poolside Edition, at least to my nose, definitely gives me the vibe that is like you're sitting by the pool in a tropical place. It's definitely bright and fresh in a playful kind of way. And I do feel Poolside Edition is sexy freshness for summer. So moving on to usage, so like seasons and occasions, this is definitely very much a summer scent. I mean, you can use freshies throughout the year if you want. I do. However, this definitely leans more towards summer. And having used it quite a bit, it definitely shines under the warm sun. As for occasions, I mean, pretty much anything you do on a warm summer day. I really really do not feel there's any occasion you can't wear this to. So who's Tommy Hilfiger Poolside Edition for? Let's sort of try and make this as simple as possible. I do feel this is the kind of freshness that most people who love freshes will enjoy. So if you usually enjoy fresh fragrances, then I think the chances of you enjoying this are pretty high. But like always, if you're not sure, then make sure you try before you buy. If you absolutely dislike any kind of fresh scents, then this is definitely not for you. And if you usually do not enjoy any kind of fruitiness and any kind of saltiness in your fragrances, then this is probably not for you. So let's quickly go through some of the alternatives to Poolside Edition. Now, I don't know why, but for some reason, the main alternative that I thought of was Acqua di Gio Profondo de Eau de Toilette. Acqua di Gio Profondo de Eau de Toilette basically has a bit of that signature Acqua di Gio DNA to it, but made more modern. And one way to sort of describe Acqua di Gio Profondo de Eau de Toilette is that this is a lighter, brighter, and in a way, a sort of airier version of Profondo. Profondo Eau de Toilette smells absolutely fantastic. However, this has a bit of that signature Acqua di Gio DNA, and I do feel Poolside Edition does have a bit of uniqueness to it. So let's move on to price. I paid less than 40 bucks for 100 ml of this, but that was on a discounter, so make sure you do not pay full retail for this. Have a proper look around on different discounters before buying Poolside Edition. So for what I paid for Poolside Edition versus the amount of juice, the uniqueness of it, and the quality makes this, at least to me, great value. So what are my final thoughts on Tommy Hilfiger Poolside Edition and how I'm going to rate it from 1 to 10? There are so many freshes out there, and I do feel a lot of the freshes nowadays are basically flankers of existing DNAs. And I never ever thought I would say this about a scent from Tommy Hilfiger, but this actually moves away from a lot of other different scents, and I also feel its freshness, it does have quite a bit of uniqueness to it. And it's so hard to describe something that you feel like the feeling that you're getting from a scent, but the vibe, the super happy, fun kind of freshness that I'm getting from this is to me a fantastic thing. In other words, this is a freshie that really makes me smile whenever I spray it on. I mean, the bad thing is the performance. I do feel that the scent cloud does get a bit more on the intimate side a bit too soon. But regardless of that, the gorgeous, happy, flirty, and sexy vibe I get from this, the gorgeous freshness it has, and the low price it has makes it an absolute banger. And to me, Poolside Edition is easily worth 8.5 or 9. Simply put, this is one of those fragrances that makes me smile. Make sure you check out my other videos over there. Please do drop a like and subscribe for more. Thank you. I really do appreciate it. And let me know in the comments your thoughts on Poolside Edition. Do you like it or not?